Yo, welcome to the first episode of the Trident. Now, what is the Trident? Let me tell you. You get three awesome men, right? That are top tier, that know some shit, get together and we just talk about shit that men deal with. So, today on the episode of the Trident, we are getting into one topic that I think every guy has experienced at least once, and that is how to navigate a dead bedroom. You know, when your wife decides she no longer wants to put out the booty, what do you do with the cutie? We're going to get into it today with my guys, RP Thor and the one and only fitness guru, Phil Foster. What's up, gentlemen?
Fantastic. How you doing, brother? This is an amazing episode, and this is going to be one of many for the history books. The Trident is something special. Look at the men here. Experienced, lively, and talk about dead bedroom. Haven't had it in a long time, but gentlemen, it has happened to all of us. I'm sorry to say. It's going to be fun. I know because I work with a lot of guys that have experienced it and or are on the verge of losing their woman because of a dead bedroom. And when you look across the nation, it's not uncommon. Sex less than, once a week is considered, a dead bedroom. So if you're not getting that goody once a week, then that's not good. We need to get that up there. So there's a lot of factors that come into play with a dead bedroom. She's tired, you're tired, kids are crying, things like that. You got to make time for that special time with your sweetie. It's important. Sex is the glue that holds relationships together, and that's a fact. If you're ignoring it, then the clock is ticking.
Well, like, what is your approach? Like, let's say a guy comes to you, right?
Yeah.
And he goes like, "Yo, Thor, look, man, I don't know what I'm doing wrong. Like, I'm leveling up. You know, I'm doing my shit. I'm working out. I'm doing what I got to do, right? And for some reason, like, my wife doesn't seem to want to have sex. Like, every time I try to initiate, there's something wrong. Like, the dishes need to get done, or she says she's too tired, or she has a headache. Like, what would you think when a guy tells you that? Like, what is your approach to that? Because to me, I see a lot of red flags there
Mhm.
from the woman's part.
So
So what
usually
would
when
you recommend?
usually when I get a guy that's asking those sort of questions, usually the relationship is kind of rocky as it is. So I start asking a series of questions about what's he doing. I kind of stay off of her for a minute and I ask about how they communicate. For instance, do they have the type of conversations where there's a little bit of contempt involved? Because that's really telling. If there's contempt and discontent, then there's not going to be much lively action. She's not going to be amicable for it. And usually what I end up finding is that the guy has just, kind of given up on it after a certain amount of time and has become quite complacent. And usually when that's the case, I have to focus it all back on him. It's going to sound, like he should be doing something for her, but in reality, he has to do something for him to correct this. It's going to sound super, super counterindicated, but he has to become solipsistic and put himself first. It's like this. You remember when you first went on to a big jet airliner and you're going to go up in the sky for 20,000, 30,000 feet, and they're giving you the safety instructions and they're talking about the oxygen mask falling down. If those come down, they tell you, you got to put it on yourself first. Don't put it on the girl next to you. Don't put it on the kids. Glenn, when do they tell you that?
They tell you that so that you make sure that you can't help anybody if you don't help yourself.
If you don't
So
help yourself
if
first, you
you're not
can't
doing the
save
work to help
anybody else.
yourself, you can't save nobody else.
You got
This
to
is
save
exactly
yourself. Exactly.
that. Guess what? That dead bedroom is the oxygen you're missing. You're gonna have to take care of yourself. In order to do that, you're gonna have to make yourself capable. Even you have to make yourself capable of being attractive
Mm.
to her. And the way you become attractive to her is to start working on yourself, become an attractive man. I start these guys off immediately, making them understand that women are valuable to men, but men must become valuable to women. And you're only as good as your last performance. Do you see what I mean? That's part of your burden of performance. So, in order to get that back, you have to start with yourself. You start with your own self care, how you groom your face. You start to learn how to carry your presence. You start to become attractive. And I would recommend guys a lot of guys start to look real sloppy.
Mm.
And usually they need to cut back drinking, playing the video games. They need to become active. If you're playing video games, get a hobby that you can do that's physical. Start yard work, work on a car, something around the house, not chore play. No, something for yourself.
Mm.
And then I have the guys pack a gym bag. And the gym bag sits exactly by the door. She asks you, what's that for? And I tell him, that's my gym bag when I need to go to the gym. It's that simple.
You brought up something really interesting. You said chore play. Phil, like, okay, we kind of know chore play. Like, we know what that is.
Yeah, we do.
But what is the first thing that comes to your mind when you hear a guy is doing chore play?
Yeah, so the first thing that comes to my mind is like, man, you got to wake the hell up, man. What are you doing? You got it all wrong. Here's the thing, guys that, think that, if they're going to do the dishes or, mop the floors or something like that, she's going to give you some, man. You got another thing coming. That's not what it is. That's not it. That's not what it is at all. You got to understand that chore play, simply in my mind, is a dude that is completely given up on life. A man that does chore play or thinks he's going to get access to the poo nanny that's what Thor calls it, anyways, right? Is
Moon.
poon. If you think you're going to mop the floors and do the laundry and do the dishes, she's going to give you some. She's not. She's going to respect you less, my friend. No chore play. The first thing that comes to my mind is you're a weak man. Period.
What you got to do?
You know what? It's funny
Gotta
because,
get her.
like for me, like when I hear chore play, like, because I did it, I'm not gonna lie, like I was that guy that I remember sitting with my pastor talking about it, and I was like, dude, what do I do? Because like I don't, coming from my background, for the biblical background, like watching porn, all that stuff was bad. So I was like, dude, I don't want to be tempted to go down this route, right? So how do I address this? He's like, well, help her out in the house, help her out. He's like, there's nothing. He told me, like, there's nothing sexier to a woman when she sees a man with a vacuum.
Oh,
So
man.
please leave. I was out there
Oh,
vacuuming everything. But when I realized it, then I was like, okay, from a biblical preference, right? What does it say about this? And it speaks really clear in 1 Corinthians that you're not to deprive your spouse from sex, except for one reason. And the reason is, unless you are praying, devoting that time to prayer, from a biblical standpoint, you are not allowed to tell them no. So, or tell her no. So it's like when I hear these pastors or people like recommending chore play, I'm like, you are setting them up for failure. Like you are intentionally like destroying any chance that they have at really getting that back in the way that it should be. Because then it turns into a transaction. I do the dishes for you, you blow me in the bathroom, or you give me that ass. Like it should not be that way. That makes the relationship from a genuine desire, Thor, to transactional sex.
It takes all the passion out. And when that guy told you that, I mean, this is what should have done. No, absolutely not. It's exactly opposite of that. Now I do want to say one thing about chore play. Chore play is bad, but here's the thing. Cleaning up after yourself, taking care of yourself is part of self-care. You got to dial your shit in. If your shit's throwing yourself stuff all around and you're being a fat fucking slob, then, you're not taking care of your business as a man. You should have your shit dialed in. You got your stuff organized. You're ready to go. Take care of the outside, take care of the cars. She'll take care of the inside. That's a big deal. And girls get turned on when you come in all greasy and sweaty, and you leave that grease mark on her brand new clean short. She gets pissed, but then she's kind of excited too, you see.
Yeah.
So that chore play is not so good. And I'm going to get back to the gym bag. What I recommend what these guys do. One of the first things I have them do is start working out. Even if it's just 20 minutes, right? You must get out of the house to go to the gym. There's reasons for this. And this is secret shit, though. I mean, it's been around for a long time. And you know what? I tip my hat to Ryan Stone. I tip my hat to Blue Pill Professor, all those guys from the old married red pill, because this is a really defined technique that actually works. And I'll give it to you here today. You get everything's good. You're giving her the attention, the time, the affection that she needs. And you're still getting it turned down. You don't get mad. You don't do anything. You get up, you walk to the door, you pick up the gym bag, you open the door, and you walk out. There's no phones. There's no text. There's nothing. Where are you going? Where are you going? I'm going to the gym. When are you going to be back? I don't know. however long it takes to me to work out. And you stay freaking gone for 6 hours. And then you come back. And you act like nothing happened. Go about your day. Keep going. 3 or 4 days later, maybe something happens between you. Maybe it doesn't. The next time she's got a headache, you walk to the door, don't say nothing. You pick up your gym bag and you bail. And you continue doing this for a while. And pretty soon you're going to start getting some muscles. You're going to start being attractive. You get out there and you start creating a social life, not necessarily flirtation, but you create a social life where you're exposed to other females and they got a sixth sense, man. The poon knows the odor of poon on you. And guess what? Nothing gets them fired up like knowing that their man could be out there fishing.
Yeah,
Go ahead. No, go ahead, Phil. Go ahead.
That competition anxiety, man, really starts to kick in that point. And that's great, man. It's a great display of like telling these guys, hey, it's an excellent dissertation on frame right there. First and foremost, don't get butt hurt, man. Just go. And the more you're gone, the more she's going to start wondering. That competition anxiety is going to start setting in. The big thing for guys is to understand is this, man, is if you have a significant other that you're married to or a long-term relationship, you guys should be banging anywhere from 4 to 6 times a week, period.
A week or a day, because some of us have a higher.
Yeah. I mean, and there's days in there when you're like double. You're at bat 2 or 3 times, man. That's the point. You know what I mean? The thing is one of the things that I do is one of my businesses is a very physical business, construction businesses, man. And there is no, oh, I'm tired. No, I literally tear that ass up like it's the last time I'm going to tear it up again. Like if I'm not going to wake up tomorrow, if I get an opportunity or if I present the opportunity and I just let her know straight up, man, we're fucking, man. There is no negotiating for that, man. That's what it is. And it's the same thing with her. If she needs it and verbalizes it to me, it's on. You know what I mean? There is no, oh, yeah. There's been a couple times in my business that I've come home, questionable because the simple fact is I'm around chemicals and stuff like that. She don't care.
Yeah.
She wants to be ripped apart.
That's the point. It reminds me of a very important story that I want to share with you guys. Let me share this story. So guys, I had a good friend. He was in my industry and he was offered a very, very lucrative job. And this job would take him away from home, from the wife he loved dearly and had a lot of sex with. And he was going to be gone for 4 to 6 days a week. And he was doing that. And it was frustrating him. She was kind of cool. Everything was good for about 6 months. And he asked me, he goes, man, this is just killing me. This stuff, I'm making such good money though. You listen to the money I'm making. I'm like, yeah, it's really freaking good. Why don't you just move her? Because the kids, this and that, they're in the area and she's got this and that. And I said, she would come if I want to. And I said, well, my friend, I'm not going to mention by name. I said, you ever considered this? You and I are both older guys. And that's a glue that holds your relationship together. You're already feeling that strain. She's feeling it probably 10 times as much because that's girls feel. They have emotions. And, for every month that you miss, say 4 days a week, do you realize that that's 12 days in 4 weeks? Or when you work 6 days, that's 36. Those are days that you didn't get to make love to her that never, ever come back. They're gone forever. Is it worth what you're getting as a salary? And he goes, yeah, it's a good point, man. May have to burn her up here. He fucking quit the next week.
Yeah.
So, having that passionate knockdown, crazy ass sex is really good. And sometimes as a partner, you need to take a whole day, a vacation, whatever it is. You take that whole day and you know what it is? It's about that passion. It's about that genuine desire. And it should be extremely playful. You need to explore that. Use dirty talk, whatever you can to keep those fires lit. There's a lot of ways. Hell, I go into a lot of those ways when I do my lectures, but it's probably not YouTube friendly here. But it certainly goes a long way to spiking those emotions. And when those emotions are spiked and that mystery is still around, there's no need for her to ever have to give you duty sex because she wants you to come after her. And here's the key. A lot of times women won't advance on you. They never, hardly ever do. You can look at the statistics of men approaching or women approaching men. It's like 4.6% will approach a hot dude. Everybody else is waiting for the man. So if you think she's going to roll over and climb on top of your dead ass, and that's going to get the sex going, you're dead wrong. You have to initiate. You're the leader. That's your responsibility. That's your burden of performance.
Yeah, so I want to hit a couple points here and kind of piggyback off of both of you guys, right? So what you said, Thor, was great because yeah, you got to initiate some level of dread, and also feel as you mentioned, frame, right? Those are both key. My thing is like, let's go back to square one because it is on the guy. As Thor mentioned, the guys do initiate. They're the ones. Women are waiting for you to initiate and let them know. Now, unless you have a nympho like I do, I don't gotta wait for initiation. I could be asleep and it's coming on me. But not every guy is lucky like that. But when it comes down to it, when you think about it, when you find yourself in a dead bedroom, that does mean that there's something that you have failed to do. That means you're no longer fucking her in the head. You're not in her brain.
Correct.
You're not in her mind. You're not stimulating those thoughts. Those thoughts are not in the forefront of her mind where she's thinking about them because you're not putting them there. So if you're not engaging with her mentally, you're not going to be able to engage with her physically. Because you got to remember, if you're going at work all day long and then you just come home and you're trying to get that booty right when you get in the door and you haven't really communicated or really established that action, that thought pattern for her to even be in the right mindset, then you are setting yourself up for failure because she's not there. She's not primed yet. Women need to be primed.
Yeah, that's a really important point.
Prime them first.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a really important point. A lot of guys after a period of time and comfort level with their partner or woman, I hate saying partner. I'm just going to say wife, with your wife. They'll just go ahead and say, okay, sex night, let's go. Guys, it's like, they got a motor that will burn really, really hot, like a weed eater engine. You got to kind of push that button and prime that shit. You got to push it and prime it. Sometimes it doesn't turn over the first couple times, right? You're pulling that weed eater, rah, 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 push that damn thing, get that little button. And then it's not working. And you got to pull out the big guns. You got to get the starting fluid and spray it right in that little carburetor hole. And guess what? Then that thing fires right up and you can't hardly stop it and it's going all over the place. Well, that's kind of the analogy, gentlemen. You're going to have to ramp it up. You got to climb the escalation ladder. And that's where there's a lot of guys in this space that know how to do it.
I wanted to tee off of that real quick. Thor, and here's the thing, if you're in a dead bedroom right now, you need to increase the frequency for sure. And that's the big thing, right? Is once you start fucking her well and then start fucking her often, this shit's going to be on her mind all the time.
Yep.
She's not going to let that go, and so that's the point, right? Is, every time you handle her savagely when you're, increasing the frequency. There's some intimacy there, but you want to handle her savagely. You want to let her know who is boss, who is dominant in the relationship. You're taking charge of that thing. You're commanding her in the bedroom. You aren't asking her. You're telling her what to do. And as you increase frequency, that's going to get in her friggin' head. And the dishes, the laundry, that shit's going to start stacking up, bro. Because you're going to be tearing it up as much as you want.
So
Yeah. Hold on.
Dirty talk. Yes.
Let me get in here real quick. So another thing you also need to do, right? Take the opportunity to not reject attention from other women. So let's say you and your wife are out, right? You're out to dinner, right? And you guys haven't had sex in a hot minute, right? And this cute little waitress or waitress, even if she's not even cute, a waitress comes up to you and she kind of gives you a little flirt, right? She's giving you a little eyes. She's really taps you on the shoulder or something. She's being cute with you. Play off that. Okay, don't shut that down. Play off that, okay? Because when your woman sees that other women want you, that other women are flirting with you, that's going to remind her that that's social proof that, oh my God, I do got a guy that's desirable. What am I doing? Not giving, protecting this. Why am I not giving him this? Because gosh, if she's giving him attention and I'm here, imagine how many women are giving him attention and I'm not there. Like what happens when he's at work? How many women give him attention there? Oh no, I got to make sure that I got this secure, and that will help stimulate those thoughts and help them to be more engaged in that.
Absolutely. And you know what? I want to bring up another part of dread. And this isn't the dread that's all sexy. This isn't the dread that gets her competition anxiety going. This is a very different approach that I use with people. So this particular approach is a subtle approach. Gentlemen, there's something called a contextual alpha. I know you guys know what a contextual alpha is. In this particular case, let's just imagine that you had a passion for motorcycle racing and you became the best motorcycle racer. Just by the fact that you do that and show that off that you are dominating other men will make her very, very interested in you. And guess what? It doesn't even have to be that. It can be something actually, it could be just about anything. You could bowl 230 and you're in the league and those people are worshiping the ground you walk on and you're the contextual alpha. It works. You can see evidence of this everywhere in the media, on the news, with these tycoons that you would think have nothing going for them, but boy, in their element, they're a contextual alpha. And it's extremely attractive, right? So that's another method that you can do is you don't always have to have something manly, but it does help. If you're interested and you have the physicality, a combat sport, a self-defense, Brazilian jiu-jitsu, it's all good. I mean, even if you become an amazing RC helicopter pilot, I explored that for a while. I watch these guys dance these things around upside down, no computers like they have now, no drones. I mean, I've seen guys get hit and take 80 stitches with these 8-foot long rotor blades and just dance these things around like dragonflies. And guess what? They had groupies. So they were nerdy as hell, but they had that hand-eye coordination. And because of that, you can use that to your advantage when you become a contextual alpha. I mean, Glenn, you're an actor. You have to channel to become a contextual alpha. Now, I'm not going to deny that you don't have a small amount of alpha in you right now, but you have learned how to channel that. So, I mean, so the real challenge for you is when they ask you to play a trans role. That would be the real challenge, right? How you channel.
Yeah, see, like that won't even happen. I won't even take a no. Like, look, I'm so typecast. Like, you see all the tattoos, you
I
see all
was
the
you,
tattoos, you see the look. I'm so typecast. Like, they know better than to come up to me with that bullshit. It just would
all
not
right.
happen.
But you do have to channel and be a contextual alpha and play in things you haven't. You could play the nerd.
Yeah, no, you do. You have to, and that's the great thing about your course when you start teaching about a dominant masculine presence. Like, there's a component to that where if you don't have it, you got to tend to become an actor. You have to find an archetype that you are going to mirror. That you want to try to work for you until you start developing that being, and that's really what acting is. It's like when I'm on set and I'm playing a character. I read up the character, I figure out who this character is and their background, and then from there I reenact that. I depict that background, and if this character has a limp, I'm walking with a limp on my right leg. Why? Because I got shot in my right leg, 10 years ago, because my character did, right? So you start building that up. You start building and understanding the backstory of who you are. So when you're becoming the dominant masculine man, from Thor's course, and you start building that up, you are finding out who are you. What's your masculinity type? Who is this masculine man within you? You find who that is, you create that, and then you start building that backstory up and becoming that man in the process. And then once you get to a point where it's so natural to you, so anytime you got to initiate that alphaness, it's just like you already know who it is because that's you created it within.
Yes, yes, it's a big part of identity when you're doing that because girls or women know vibes. It is definitely an energy that's projected. Everybody knows it. When you walk in the room, you walk with purpose. There's things like that that can be done. And as an actor, you really do understand that, Glenn. You know, another aspect of that Phil really touched on is, he started talking about commanding her and he's having a command presence with his woman, but it's not over domineering. It's something she needs. She needs that guidance. And where I direct guys is I direct guys to learn a little bit about dirty talk, fantasy, how to build that ramp. There's an escalation ladder you need to look about. My good friend Sterling Cooper sells a course on sexual escalation, very, very important. And he sells a course on dirty talk. And a lot of this it's quite playful. I will recommend guys that can't afford the courses to look up some of the Dom 101 books that are available on Amazon because reading about BDSM and becoming a dominant, or at least understanding that relationship between a Dom and a sub, is probably going to help you tremendously in making her mirror that need that you have. And that's really, you're building your own nymphomaniac when you do that. You don't have to find one of the 1 in a million that's out there and find your own unicorn. You basically build a unicorn and slap a horn on her head, and you're good to go. Get it?
Jesus Christ, man.
Maybe it's not. Maybe it's not.
Slap a corn on her head. I love
Like
it,
a
man.
horn on her head. Maybe it's not a horn. Maybe it's some phallic object. I have.
There you go.
And the thing is, like, if you, and I'm sure Thor and Phil will both, agree with this, but like once you dick her down right, you can make the most church girl, the most ravagely sluttiest nympho you've ever met in your life. She could be singing hymns on Sunday and sucking dick by Sunday night, like just crazy.
And
All
every
right,
man
but you
wants
have
that
to
from
be
the
able to
bottom
be the
horn.
guy to put that in her. You have to bring that out of her. Because I think every woman has it. It just depends on you and the level of dick game that you put on her.
So
That's
we're gonna
right,
have to have
man.
a conversation about that because that's what every man wants. That's the Madonna whore complex. And I'm curious with your religious training, Glenn, how the church has handled that. Maybe that's for another discussion at another time.
We could get into that another time. That's
Yeah.
a whole nother topic. But you guys, we are hitting that 30-minute mark. So let's go ahead and wrap it up here. Because you know what? This is our first one. We're gonna make it quick and smooth. So Phil, let's start with you, buddy.
Yeah, man. Yeah, you can find me at Phil Foster _ on all social media platforms, and you can find me at philfosterfitness.com. Of course, you can find me here dropping content with Thor and Glenn and some other gents on the panel with the Dragon Ship on Saturdays, and then of course this new show that we're putting together. Once again, guys, stay out of that dead bedroom. It's up to you, man, to level it up, man. Take it as often as you can to build that frequency and get her to understand that it's not about the dishes or the laundry. It's about your wants and desires and communicating those with her. Once she starts understanding that she's not a mind reader, you need to let her know exactly what you want from her. Sit her down and talk to her even. And believe it or not, that actually works. Hey, this is what I want from you. This is what I want to do to you right now. Do not be afraid. I mean, these women are created. I mean, they can make they give birth, for Christ's sakes, man. They can handle it. Whatever game you think you got in the bedroom, they can handle it. Trust me. If you were to take a woman's pussy and make boots out of it, they'd last forever.
Thor, how about you, buddy? What's going on with you?
Absolutely, man. Anybody runs into a dead bedroom, there's a way out. There's a way to save it. There's a way to save it. If you're not split yet, there's a way to do it. It's going to take work. I often have to remember that it's going to take work and it's going to take you to do the work. You miss something somewhere. If you're sitting there hearing this and you have a dead bedroom and it's frustrating you, you got a nagging wife, then you miss something. Needs to come and get to ground zero. Most guys that are successful at this, it takes 9 to 10 to 11 months to fix it. When they do, they get that woman that they wanted. They really do. They get that unicorn, that sex kitten, but it's going to take work on your side. And it is not as simple as many have posted it, where they give them an ultimatum: you better fuck me or someone else is going to get fucked. That's the very last thing to do when nothing else has worked, because that's a horrible ultimatum. I mean, it's really the same type of ultimatum that a wife in the church would give you, which is happy wife, happy life. That's an ultimatum, gentlemen. Realize it, fix it. A good wife equals a great life.
Yeah, absolutely. Guys, you can find me here on the Dragon Ship. So you guys know that the Dragon Ship channel is not just a Dragon Ship show. Okay, the show is on the channel, but we are going to bring to you multiple different shows. You're going to have your big brothers featured on the Dragon Ship. You're going to have content from Phil Foster Fitness on the Dragon Ship. You're going to have content from RP Thor on the Dragon Ship, and as well as the Dragon Ship show and this new show that we're starting called the Trident. All right, so be prepared. We're going to be flooding you guys with some really good content and some really interesting topics. But for me, you could understand this. Like, if you're having a dead bedroom, the first thing you need to assess is yourself. What are you doing, or what are you not doing any longer that you were doing before that was leading you to getting the booty? All right. Once you correct that, then you have to step 2 is, okay, look at yourself. As Thor and Phil both said, how do you look? Are you presentable? Are you even attractive? Would you fuck you? Is the question you need to ask yourself. If the answer is no, well, without the no homo, but if you're not attractive, if you're not putting in the work to be attractive to your wife, then you have to ask yourself, why would she want to fuck you? For
Mhm.
duty? And do you want her to fuck you just because it's her duty? No, you want her to desire you. So then you get yourself in the gym, you start working out, you start operating in some dread game, as Thor said and Phil said. Don't go to the extreme, don't give her the ultimatum, but you slowly work at it, you slowly build it up. Okay. And those things, by applying those things, we have definitely seen success in many men's lives, even our own lives, that when we started implementing these tactics and these skills, the booty came back and they came back crawling for more. All right. So that's me. I got nothing else
Mhm.
to add to that, you guys. Gentlemen, what do you got to say? Wrap it up, Thor?
Sounds good, man. I appreciate you guys. Find us on the Dragon Ship. And this is for the Trident. See you guys next time on the Trident.